Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jay, the Realtor with Berkshire Hathaway.
And I am John Bergio with Prosperity Home Mortgage.
So, thanks for coming, by the way, John.
My pleasure.
I know you're a busy guy. Appreciate you having you here.
Glad to be here.
So John, the main reason why I wanted to bring us together and make this video is because, I feel like a lot of people aren't sure the steps, and, a lot of people have a misconception of what it takes to purchase a home.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the king at
Yeah.
that. So
I could shed a little light on that, Jay, for you.
okay.
From my point of view, what you would want first-time home buyers or any potential home buyer is to make sure that they are in position to purchase a home before they start driving around and looking at all these properties, only to find out that maybe they're not, or they have to wait to get pre-approved, and they're not able to borrow money.
Okay.
So it's my job to get them pre-approved.
So John, let me ask you a question. Where would you start? What would be the base?
Basically, we would start with the client, we'd bring them in, or we would exchange information electronically. We would look at them financially, their employment, their credit history, assets, and more importantly, what program fits for them, because there's a tremendous amount of programs out there, and not every program is a perfect fit for every buyer.
Right.
Especially if they're a first-time home buyer.
Right. So I know one of the things you mentioned was credit.
Yep.
Now, the credit, I know it could be tricky. What credit score do you need to buy a house nowadays?
Well, there is no one specific credit score. Again, different programs have different requirements, whether it's an FHA loan, which is a government-backed loan, a conventional loan, a VA loan, a housing finance authority like a CHAFA loan with down payment assistance. So credit score, you want to have the highest score possible, and that kind of goes hand in hand in getting your potential client in to review their situation with a loan officer, with a lender, to make sure that A, their credit is in good enough standing to qualify for the right program for them, and if it's not, they'll have time to do something and maybe fix their credit and increase their score. There's a lot of consumer-friendly websites out there that will help them do that, and it's very, very key for them to have the highest score possible, because that will give them the best deal possible, the best offer, the best program that fits their needs.
Excellent. So I know when I purchased my first home, I did the first-time home buyers program.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I needed a credit score of at least a 620. Is that kind of like what that is today?
620 is a score that covers a lot of the different programs. So the short answer is yes. The long answer is we can go lower than a 620 on a different program.
Okay.
On the first-time home buyer, if you don't need a down payment assistance, then you can go a little bit lower than 620. But it's a case-by-case basis,
right?
So everybody is different, and again, especially the purchase price of the home, the loan amount. Are they a conforming loan limit, meaning they're not a jumbo purchaser? So a lot of things, a lot of information has to be collected before we can determine, is that credit score enough to get them the program that they need to purchase that specific house or in that price range.
Excellent, excellent. And as far as getting pre-approved, what are some of the things that you need to get pre-approved besides the credit?
Mm-hmm.
For example, how long do you need to hold a job for it and things like that?
That's a great question. Generally, people always hear, oh, I need to be in my job for 2 years or be working for 2 years. And that in some cases is true. But there's also the cases where a first-time home buyer may have just graduated from a school or college, whether they are a teacher and they graduated last month. If they have a new job, a permanent full-time position, and recently graduated, then they do not need 2 years of job history. Police officers, firefighters, they go through their own training process. that is acceptable to have less than 2-year history.
Wow.
In some cases, you may need 2 years history. In some cases, you may not need. So it is a case-by-case basis.
Okay. So it sounds like depending on the program, it's all going to
Exactly. The good news and the bad news sometimes is there's so many programs, there's so many different guidelines, but the reason there's so many programs is that we want to make sure that, well, the industry wants to cover as many potential home buyers in many different situations as possible. One size does not fit all. So, so lending standards and guidelines today are in a better place, or one of the best places they've been in a long time, outside of the subprime times.
Excellent. And as far as down payment, can you give us a little insight on that?
Sure. For standard conventional and FHA loans, you're looking between 3 to 3.5, maybe 5% down. Those are the standard down payments. Again, we have other programs that allow 100% financing. There's something called a USDA loan, which if you buy in a certain census tract and as a rural community or any rural community, you can go 100% financing.
Wow.
CHFA, Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, has down payment assistance. You can borrow 100% of the purchase price.
Wow.
If you're a veteran and you have eligibility, you can borrow 100% of the purchase price as a vet.
Wow.
So there's just 3 examples of 100% financing. And sometimes in certain areas of the country, state or cities, you'll find grants or loan programs for specific neighborhoods, for police and things like that. They may help them with down payments as well.
Wow. So it sounds like they're encouraging people
Absolutely,
to buy a home.
Absolutely.
They want homeowners.
Exactly. These programs are really specifically tailored to encourage people to buy homes in their area. So Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, obviously Connecticut, they want people to buy. First-time home buyers in the state of Connecticut, they have great programs. They have down payment assistance. They have lower interest rates, lower fees. For example, the VA program has no PMI on no down payment.
Wow.
That's a terrific thing. And as lenders, just to toot our own horn, we waive all our lender fees.
Wow. And
we pay for the appraisal as well for the vet. So that's why it's very important, going back to your first question, what do people have to do to get pre-approved, or what is the process? It's really sitting down with the lender, the loan officer, and exchanging the financial information of that person who wants to buy, or that couple, or that 2 or 3 people that want to buy a property. Could be owner occupied, could be investment property, could be second home, could be a vacation home. So there's a lot of different variables, and sometimes it changes the types of programs and the type of paperwork we need.
Okay, excellent. And how long does it take to get approved to buy a home?
Approved or pre-approved?
I would say pre-approved.
Pre-approved. That's a great question, because if people are open, especially young people like yourself, we have a terrific app. You can literally get pre-approved on your phone.
Really?
Because you can link your bank statements, you can provide your income, your employment information, and we can get those things electronically. So I had someone who called me in the morning, went to my website, jumped on my app. I get a notification that their online digital app is completed. We verified their income through a national network because they work for a large insurance company. They linked their bank accounts, which I believe were through a large bank. And now we have verified their asset, verified their income, and pulled their credit. They were officially pre-approved in less than 2.5 hours. They were ready to go out and shop for a house that day.
That's amazing.
Now, then you have people who want to meet you in person.
Right.
Just like you and I are sitting down.
Right.
We'll meet them in person.
I'm one of those people.
And no problem. And we'll collect the paperwork and we'll upload it for them. But even once I get all that paperwork, for any lender, not just ourselves, it should not be more than 24 to 48 hours after the lender has all the paperwork he or she needs to make a determination of whether someone is pre-approved or not.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah,
that's like unheard of.
Well, in this day and age, people want things to happen quickly. It's not like I'll get back to you in a week.
Exactly.
If you've gone out and tried to get pre-approved or pre-qualified, they go hand in hand in most cases, and your lender has not gotten back to you in a week, 2 things need to happen. Either A, you need to change lenders, or B, there's an issue and he or she is not telling you what that issue is.
Right. I agree with you 100%. I wouldn't be able to just, sit there and wait so long, like while I'm anxious to know if I can buy a house.
And one of the most important things, especially from a lender's point of view, is we have to set expectations.
Right.
I don't want to tell I do want to tell my client or your client a lot of, good news. You're pre-approved. You can buy your dream house. But you also have to set expectations saying, I really do need this information. I really do need your income and your asset and your employment information.
Right.
Otherwise, we cannot make a determination.
Exactly.
Because the last thing you want is to start going out with your client who may think they are pre-approved or pre-qualified, and you go see 5 or 10 or 15 houses in a weekend, and you do it for a few weeks, and you make an offer only to find that, no, they're not ready to purchase. Now, everybody's wasted their time and is not happy with me.
Right.
So it's very, very important to set expectations, and sometimes pulling information from customers is not as easy as it sounds, but it's very, very important that they understand that that's the only way to make the right determination.
And we're just trying to help.
That's right. That's right.
So, with the closings and everything, so say you get pre-approved, then you're officially approved after that?
Correct. So what happens is we get them pre-approved, and you go out and you find them their dream house.
Right.
And they make an offer, and the offer is accepted after you negotiate it with the other side. That's when we go to the full application process.
Okay. What
happens is we'll disclose them certain forms and documents. We call them disclosures. They sign them. They can electronically sign them. We order an appraisal. And at the same time, their paperwork goes to an underwriter or an underwriting department, where we make the official approval, the official decision on the file. We have systems in place. We call it our Accelerator or our Prosperity Express, where we can get these things done in a matter of days, not weeks.
Wow.
So once the appraisal is done, hopefully it appraises out, it gets reviewed, because we want to make sure the price they're paying for the property is supported by an appraisal report, meaning the value is there for the amount that they're paying for it. Appraisal's done, underwriting hopefully approves their loan, and then the attorneys or the title companies will do their part in getting the two sides to the closing table.
It sounds like a lot, but I know you're the right guy.
Generally, that's a 30-day process. It could be done quicker than that, but generally it's 30 to 45-day process from signing a contract to closing. And obviously, there's a seller's side to things that can influence the amount of time you need to close.
Okay. So I see you got some stuff you want to share there with us.
Yeah, no, we have terrific PowerPoints that we go through, and what we tell people is, put your team together, because what's involved in buying a house? You got to get your financing person or lender together, or you have to meet with them, get pre-approved. You have to get with a realtor. You also will need, in the state of Connecticut, generally attorney representation.
Right.
You will need your homeowner's insurance agent ready to go when you make that offer and it's accepted, because you don't want to start shopping for homeowner's insurance 3 days before closing.
Right.
So I tell people, get their team together. You
Right.
have your realtor in place, you have your lender in place. Select a real estate attorney for the closing. Talk to your local insurance agent or interview a couple insurance agents.
Right.
Tell them you're going to be buying a house.
Right.
And the same goes for inspectors, home inspectors. They're going to need a home inspection on the property probably to make sure that the property is in good shape, does not need a lot of work, if any.
Right.
So that's really what people can do and can research even before finding a home. They can say, well, let me get pre-approved. Let me talk to my friend Jay, who's a realtor. Let me see who is a good real estate attorney in the area. Give me a few names of home inspectors. The more you do up front, the smoother the process will go once they are under contract. Because I always tell people, once you're under contract, time is going to move very, very quickly, especially when you get close to closing. And we're not even talking about moving expenses. Do you live close to your new property? Are you moving from another state? So there's a lot of logistics that they need to go through, and you cannot do enough as a first-time home buyer or just a home buyer up front. The more research you do, the more questions you ask, the better positioned you will be to purchase a home.
Very true. I actually purchased my second home, and
really.
I know the process.
That's great. Yeah,
It's a lot, but
absolutely.
you know, thankfully I had a good pool of people around me. You know, I have a lot of great connections. I'm sure you have a lot of great connections being in this industry. So I'm sure you would share those referrals to people and things like that to make their process easier.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the internet has all the right answers because it's never wrong, right? I found it on the internet. Sure, there's research you can do, but I find some of the best research you can do is talk to people who are in the industry.
Right.
Doesn't mean you have to go with the first person you talk to,
Right.
but that's the kind of research you do, because ultimately, in buying a home, which is for most people their biggest investment of their life, you want the right people representing you, and not necessarily a 1-800 number or a website to go to that's going to handle your financing or handle your legal work or handle your insurance. As from my point of view, go with someone who has a presence in the are, an office, a local office, can deliver their products electronically, face to face, overnight mail if needed,
Right.
Are available. And this is more important than almost anything else. When you talk to Jay, you need to call Jay on Saturday. I'm sure Jay's going to pick the phone, as will I. We are not 9-to-5 workers, and that's important for the home buyer. It makes them feel better about purchasing the home, and when when questions arise, they get answers right away. You've purchased your first home, I have too.
Right.
You sit there and you're like, oh my God, it's Friday at 5 o'clock and I got this, I can't sleep until I know the answer.
Right.
You don't want to wait until Monday. Shoot us a text, a phone call, you get that question answered. Same goes for a local attorney or insurance agent or your local home inspector.
I don't know about you, but I've gotten calls at 6 o'clock in the morning all the way till 11 o'clock at night.
You gotta love those texts at 7
I'm
o'clock
there,
in the morning.
I'm there,
Yeah.
I'm there, because I know the process. I know how like nerve-wracking it can be. So and I want to be there for my client. I want to help them because I've been in their shoes before. And you've been in their shoes as well, and absolutely. I know you want to be there for them too. And
absolutely, the bottom line is for me is to make sure that they're prepared. If you show them a house, they're prepared to make an offer because they've gone to someone like me to get pre-approved. If they go to contract, they're prepared with their attorney and homeowners insurance and lender and home inspector, rather than reacting to after whatever the next step is, where the step has happened. They've gone to contract and now they have to interview a couple of attorneys, a couple of home inspectors, a couple of home insurance agents.
Right.
The more they do up front, the better it'll be. And like I said, the more we can do to provide that knowledge to them will make the process a lot easier.
Yes, you're 100% right. So is there anything that I'm missing?
No, pretty much that's it. We can go and talk about just credit for an hour. We can talk about different programs. I could do a first-time homebuyer seminar for an hour or two just on down payment assistance through CHAFA. We can do.
Okay.
There's Home Ready for first-time homebuyers. There's a bunch of different programs, and if you go into the details, we could be here forever. But that's why, as an experienced loan officer or lender, they will identify right away, because sometimes these programs have income limits, they have purchase price limits, they have geographic restrictions.
Right.
So sometimes people hear about these programs and automatically think, oh, that's a program for me. Meanwhile, they don't fit into that program based on the guidelines that they have in those programs. So credit, income, different programs, purchase price, jumbo loan, conventional loan. I would say that people should just go ahead and sit down with their local realtor, the local lender, and have a conversation just like you and I are having, and get a feel for it. Because very few times people are going to say, well, my price range is $100,000 to $700,000.
Right.
People are going to say, no, I want a starter home, or I want a small condo, or this is what I want my payment to be. Oh, great example, multifamily. That changes in how you can qualify people, because you can use the income. You can use the income from the other units to qualify. In some cases,
great investment.
Excellent investment, and that's where your expertise comes in. You can say these are the multifamilies that are. This is how much they can rent. You can tell them how much the potential income can be, and I will use the information that you tell them or we get from an appraisal report, and let them know how much they can be expecting for income, plus whatever the listing agent tells you the income can be. So yeah, I would say that the more research a potential home buyer can do, the better shape they'll be in.
Excellent. Well, John, I want to thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
I'm looking to buy another house, so I'm definitely gonna be in contact.
You know
with
where to find me
really soon.
All right.
And I just want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch our video. If you have any questions, or if you're looking to take that next step, definitely reach out to me, reach out to John. We're here to help you guys. We want to see you guys purchase your first home. And
my pleasure. Thank you, guys.